Welcome back to the channel, fellow adventurers. Today, we dive into a brand new saga set in the neon-lit shadows of Neo-Tokyo. If you joined us before, you know the journey has been deep and thrilling. For newcomers, get ready to explore a world where darkness is not just outside but inside us all. This is Shadows of Neo-Tokyo, a tale of resilience, mystery, and battles that test the limits of friendship and will. Follow Jin-Woo and Hana as they face shadows old and new, in a fight that will shape the fate of the city and its very soul. So, sit back, enjoy the story, and if you love this kind of urban fantasy adventure, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for all the latest episodes. Let's uncover the shadows together. In the city of Neo-Tokyo, where ancient magic intertwines with neon lights, shadows are more than absent light, they are living forces that shape fate and forge destinies. After a harrowing battle against the darkness within himself, Jin-Woo emerges stronger but still haunted. Now joined by his steadfast ally Hana, he faces not only his inner demons but a growing external threat, a conspiracy weaving shadows deep into the city's core. This is the beginning of a new chapter, where alliances are tested, secrets unravel, and every step forward carries the weight of destiny. Welcome to Shadows of Neo-Tokyo. The fight for the city's soul begins now. The first light of dawn barely pierced the dense veil of Neo-Tokyo's unrest. Jin-Woo felt the weight of unsaid fears in every step as he moved through the city's restless streets. The echoes of the explosion still lingered, a grim reminder that the battle ahead was no longer a distant threat but a storm on the horizon. Hana's presence beside him was a steady beacon, her eyes scanning for signs of the unseen enemy. They entered the labyrinth beneath the city where ancient spirits whispered forgotten tales. Shadows flickered on cold stone walls, alive with secrets waiting to be revealed. In this twilight realm, Jin-Woo confronted not just the darkness without but the shadows wrestling within. Memories and fears intertwined, pulling him toward the edge of desperation and resolve. Above ground, alliances shifted like sand. Friends became strangers, and trust became a rare currency. Each encounter bore the weight of hidden agendas, every smile masking a possible betrayal. The city's heartbeat was a complex rhythm of hope, fear, and survival. Jin-Woo's shadow blades shimmered faintly as he faced foes whose strength rivaled his own, not just in might but in cunning and psychological brutality. Battles were fierce and swift, punctuated by moments where the line between ally and enemy blurred dangerously. Amidst the chaos, messages from unknown sources hinted at larger forces shaping the conflict. The city itself felt alive, watching, testing, and sometimes guiding those who dared to challenge its dark underbelly. Jin-Woo and Hana moved through this web carefully, deciphering clues that led to deeper mysteries and darker truths. In quiet moments, the weight of choice pressed hard. Jin-Woo grappled with sacrifices, questioning the cost of power and the meaning of victory. Hana provided counsel and strength, yet the path demanded decisions that could fracture their bond. As night reclaimed the sky, a new threat emerged, one born of shadow and broken promises. A specter from Jin-Woo's past returned to challenge everything he stood for. The clash that followed was not only of swords but of wills, where inner demons fought alongside external villains. By dawn, the city held its breath. Jin-Woo's journey was poised at a critical juncture, the first step toward unraveling the conspiracy that threatened to consume Neo-Tokyo, and himself. The city had changed, its heartbeat erratic beneath the weight of secrets unraveling. Jin-Woo moved through the restless streets with Hana close beside him, their every step laden with the anticipation of conflict yet to come. The shadowy alleys whispered of ancient pacts and broken promises, the air thick with tension and unseen eyes watching from darkened corners. Each encounter tested their resolve, allies whose motives were veiled in shadows, and adversaries whose power was both terrifying and enigmatic. Jin-Woo's inner struggle mirrored the external wars waging across Neo-Tokyo. His shadows pulsed within, a constant reminder of the precarious balance he sought to maintain between darkness and light. The city itself seemed alive, a labyrinth where every corner held a new challenge, every choice a consequence far-reaching. Hints of a grander conspiracy swirled in coded messages and ghostly apparitions, forcing Jin-Woo and Hana deeper into forbidden places where magic and machinery entwined. Trust was scarce, and the fragile alliances they forged weighed heavily against the looming threat of betrayal. Moments of quiet reflection were fleeting, overshadowed by escalating danger and the creeping madness lurking at the edge of perception. As the night deepened, a mysterious figure emerged from the mist, offering knowledge wrapped in riddles and warnings of catastrophe. Jin-Woo grappled with doubts as the past collided with the present, and a hidden enemy's agenda threatened to upend the fragile peace. Their battles intensified, physical and psychological, testing the limits of endurance and willpower. Every victory was shadowed by loss, every revelation by deeper enigmas. The city's neon signs flickered like fleeting hope amid encroaching darkness, setting the stage for a confrontation both personal and epic. By dawn, the stakes had never been higher. Jin-Woo and Hana stood at the cusp of a war where survival meant understanding not only their foes but the shadows within themselves. The fractured city watched silently as its fate hung in the balance, waiting for the next move that could change everything. The city's neon-lit darkness cloaked Jin-Woo and Hana as they navigated through shadowed backstreets, every footstep echoing with the weight of unseen dangers. Forgotten alleys whispered secrets of ancient spirits and modern sins, while the tension mounted with every turn, allies uncertain and enemies cloaked in lies. Jin-Woo's internal conflict intensified, his shadows strained against the boundaries of his control, reflecting his inner chaos. Together, they deciphered cryptic clues hinting at a hidden conspiracy that reached deep into the city's foundations, forcing every decision to be weighed with care, for trust was limited, and betrayal lurked in every shadow. As they moved closer to the epicenter of the conspiracy, old wounds threatened to reopen, and their resolve was tested by apparitions from the past and threats from the present. A mysterious figure appeared in the rain-drenched darkness, offering cryptic warnings and secrets that could topple the fragile peace, if only they dared to listen. Every revelation brought them closer to the truth but also deeper into the maze of secrets and lies woven into the city's very fabric. The line between reality and nightmare blurred as Jin-Woo and Hana faced their own fears, reflecting the chaos swirling outside. In the silent, heavy moment before the storm, they understood that their choices could either shatter or save everything. As dawn threatened the horizon, they prepared for the inevitable confrontation, a test of strength, will, and the shadows lurking within. And the city held its breath, awaiting the outcome of the final battle that would determine its fate, and their own. Neo-Tokyo's streets buzzed with a restless energy as Jin-Woo and Hana tracked the faint trail of arcane disturbances. This city hides more than just secrets, Hana murmured, glancing over her shoulder. It feels alive, like it's watching us. Jin-Woo's shadow blades shimmered in response. And it's not patient with trespassers. Passing beneath a flickering street lamp, a distant scream sliced through the night. We're close, Jin-Woo said, tightened his grip. Ready yourself. Hana nodded, drawing her weapon as shadows shifted unnaturally nearby. Suddenly, they were surrounded by figures cloaked in twilight whispers. Hana's eyes narrowed. Talk, or we fight. A chilling laugh echoed. Fight. You're barely one step ahead of the darkness within. The leader stepped forward, a spectral figure whose eyes gleamed with twisted knowledge. Jin-Woo stepped forward, voice steady but laced with force. I know the shadow inside hasn't defeated me yet. Nor will you. The spectral figure smiled, hinting at deeper horrors. Then prove it. As battle ignited, Jin-Woo's thoughts flashed to his past, the weight of loss and the promise of redemption. Hana shouted over clash and chaos, we protect each other, that's our strength. Jin-Woo countered, parrying a strike, together, or not at all. After fierce struggle, the shadows dissipated but left a haunting message etched in light, warnings of a growing threat. Hana looked to Jin-Woo, breathing hard. This is bigger than we imagined. Jin-Woo's gaze hardened, then let the city watch, for we're just beginning. The city streets pulsed with uneasy energy as Jin-Woo and Hana moved cautiously through the maze of neon and shadows. The deeper we get, the heavier the air seems, Hana murmured, eyes narrowing on distant figures slipping between the alleys. Jin-Woo's grip tightened on his shadow blades, his voice steady. The city breathes secrets, and we're just beginning to unravel them. Suddenly, a confrontation. You think you understand this darkness? A chilling voice echoed from the shadows. A figure stepped forward, eyes gleaming with ruthless intent. Hana met the gaze without fear. We don't pretend to understand. We're here to end it. Jin-Woo added, your reign of terror ends tonight. Blades clashed with echoing steel and murmured spells. The fight is much mental as physical. Between strikes, Jin-Woo's mind flickered with memories of loss and hope. Hana's voice cut through. Remember why we fight. For those who can't. Jin-Woo nodded, a fierce resolve pushing him beyond exhaustion. After the battle, as the shadows faded, they found cryptic symbols glowing faintly on the walls. This isn't just a battle, it's a warning, Hana said, voice low. Jin-Woo studied the glyphs, a summons. And a test. Their alliance was tested in whispered doubts and fleeting fears. Do you trust me? Hana asked, searching his eyes. Jin-Woo met her gaze. I trust we both want to survive this night. Echoes of the city's past and present converged as they plunged deeper into the mystery. Friend or foe, the lines blurred, and every step was a choice between salvation and ruin. The dawn would bring clarity, or darkness deeper than night. Neo-Tokyo's restless pulse carried Jin-Woo and Hana deeper into a maze of alleys and whispered rumors. This city watches with 1,000 eyes, Hana murmured, and none of them are kind. Jin-Woo's response came steady, though shadows flickered beneath his gaze. Neither are we. The question is, can we outdance the darkness before it consumes us both? A sudden chill swept the street, and a figure emerged, cloaked in fragmented light. You tread dangerous ground, the stranger's voice sliced through the night, one where trust is a scarce commodity. Hana's eyes narrowed. Then we'll buy it with every fight till dawn. Jin-Woo stepped forward, or die trying. The battle ignited under the cold neon glow, shadows clashing with steel, the air thick with determination and despair. Between strikes, Jin-Woo's mind grappled with the fractured memories haunting him, while Hana's voice urged, hold fast, Jin-Woo. Fear is not the enemy, succumbing is. As combat waned, cryptic symbols carved in the walls glowed faintly, their meanings veiled yet urgent. A summons, Hana whispered. Jin-Woo's jaw clenched. And a warning. We're far from safe. Their alliance faced its crucible in unspoken fears and wavering trust. Do you believe we can survive this? Hana asked softly. Jin-Woo's steady reply was a vow. I believe in us. When shadows fall, we rise together. The city's echoes spiraled around them, a dance of dusk and dawn, trust and betrayal. Each step pulled them closer to revelations that would challenge the very nature of their existence. The murmur of the city's restless crowd faded as Jin-Woo and Hana slipped through forgotten passages beneath Neo-Tokyo. Every step we take pulls us deeper into a web that's far older than we imagined, Hana whispered, eyes fixed on the trail ahead. Jin-Woo's shadow blades glinted faintly. This city hides its truths well, and not all are meant to be uncovered. Their breaths mingled in the cold air as ghostly shapes danced on the periphery. You ever wonder if the shadows are watching us, or if we're just shadows ourselves? Hana's tone was soft yet edged. Jin-Woo's gaze hardened. Maybe both. But we decide which we become. A sharp whisper broke the silence, a message etched in light and fear. They're coming, and the night won't be kind. The warning sent a chill through them, urgency twisting their resolve tighter. They paused at the heart of the city's secret, an ancient altar pulsing with dormant power. This is the source, Jin-Woo said, voice a blend of dread and determination. And our battleground. Hana met his gaze. Then we fight not just for ourselves, but for the city, for every soul trapped between its lights and darkness. As they prepared for the impending clash, memories flickered, of those lost, those betrayed, and those who still stood in the shadows, waiting. We don't have much time, Jin-Woo said, drawing a deep breath. But whatever happens, we face it together. The night deepened, and the city held its breath, teetering on the edge of revelation and ruin. The city streets seemed to close in around Jin-Woo and Hana as they plunged deeper into Neo-Tokyo's enigmatic heart. Every mark we uncover leads to more questions, not answers, Hana said quietly, her eyes scanning the flickering shadows. Jin-Woo's shadow blades hummed softly in response. Questions are all we have left. We find the truth, or lose ourselves trying. They paused at a crumbling shrine, the air thick with an otherworldly chill. This place, Hana whispered, tracing ancient symbols glowing faintly. It's a nexus, between the city and something darker. Jin-Woo knelt, pressing his hand to the cold stone, feeling a pulse beneath. A beating heart of secrets waiting to explode. Suddenly, a figure stepped from the darkness, a familiar silhouette twisted by doubt and unspoken guilt. You shouldn't have come here, the stranger said, voice barely above a whisper. Jin-Woo's gaze locked with the stranger's, a silent battle raging beneath. Neither should you. The tension thickened, words hanging like a blade's edge. You seek answers, Hana said, voice steady. But some truths burn too bright for comfort. The stranger smiled sadly. Then prepare for the fire. As the confrontation unfolded, memories flickered in Jin-Woo's mind, echoes of betrayal and forgotten promises. Hana's hand found his shoulder. We're not alone in this fight. Jin-Woo's voice was resolute. Then we burn together, or we fade apart. Amid rising stakes and crumbling trust, the city's secrets threatened to consume all. Shadows and light twisted into one as Jin-Woo stepped further into a destiny forged by pain and hope. The tangled streets before them pulsed with a sinister rhythm, whispering threats older than the city itself. We're walking a razor's edge, Hana murmured, her breath visible in the chill night air. Jin-Woo's shadows flickered with restrained power. Every step forward risks unraveling everything, and losing ourselves in the process. Suddenly, a cold voice sliced through the darkness. You think you can wrest control from what's been buried. A cloaked figure emerged, eyes glinting with cruel amusement. Hana tightened her grip. We don't just think. We do. Jin-Woo's reply was quiet, steeled. The city's true darkness has yet to show itself. As the confrontation ignited, steel clashed with shadow, and ancient magic wreathing the battleground like ghosts of the past. Between blows, Jin-Woo's mind flickered with painful memories and a simmering resolve. Hana called out over the din, hold on to who you are. The darkness wants to consume us, but we choose to fight. After the storm of battle settled, cryptic symbols shimmered on the walls, a summons and a promise. This is just a taste, Hana warned. The real test looms closer. Jin-Woo's eyes hardened. Then we face it head on. Together. Their unity was fragile but unbroken, a beacon against the growing shadow reaching for the city's soul. The night waited with breath held tight. The dawn would bring choices that could fracture or forge destinies forever. The night's shadows twisted around Jin-Woo and Hana as they pressed on through the labyrinth of neo-noir streets. Trust is a game of shadows, Hana said softly, voice trembling with caution. Jin-Woo nodded, eyes narrowing. We move carefully, every step is a test, and every friend could be a foe. Suddenly, a figure emerged from behind a crumbling wall. You should turn back, the stranger's voice was a whisper of warning. The darkness here isn't what you think. Hana stepped forward. And what do you think it is? Our own fears, or something worse. She looked directly at the stranger, wary yet curious. He hesitated, then answered, the city feeds on secrets, your fears, your guilt. Whatever you seek, be prepared to confront the shadows within. Jin-Woo's palms grew cold, but he kept his voice steady. We're not afraid of shadows. We own them. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath their feet, a dark force awakening. It's here, Hana whispered, sensing the shift. They readied themselves, the city around them trembling in anticipation. What happens next, Jin-Woo said, will decide whether we become masters of the darkness or slaves to it. The stranger's eyes gleamed with the truth. In this place, shadows are alive, and their gleaming threat underscored the relentless fight to come. The city's shadows thickened as Jin-Woo and Hana delved further into the labyrinthine underbelly of Neo-Tokyo. Each step carried the weight of countless secrets, every whisper a thread in an ever-tightening web of conspiracy. These shadows, Hana murmured, they aren't just absence of light, they're memories, regrets, and lies folded into the city's very soul. Jin-Woo's eyes flickered with flickering shadow energy, his voice low but resolute. And we're the reckoning. The shadows inside us, the darkness outside, it's all connected. Suddenly, from the gloom, a figure stepped forth, an enigmatic silhouette wrapped in twilight, eyes gleaming with cryptic knowledge. You seek truths that have been buried for centuries, the figure said, voice both warning and invitation. But beware, the answers will consume as much as they reveal. Hana's hand instinctively went to her weapon, we don't scare easily. The city's fate depends on unmasking its ghosts. Jin-Woo's shadow blades glistened with controlled power, no more running from the darkness within. It's time to face the ghosts, or be haunted forever. As tension spiraled, the city seemed to pulse louder, the neon lights now flickering uncertainly, as if trembling at what was to come. Amidst the eerie calm before the storm, Jin-Woo recalled his past sacrifices, the faces lost beneath the veil of duty and despair. Hana's voice grounded him, together, Jin-Woo. Remember, strength is in unity. Nodding, Jin-Woo's resolve hardened. Together, we will forge a dawn from this darkness, even if the night tries to devour us. Their battle was more than physical, it was a crucible for their spirits and trust. The city watched silently as the first blows of the impending war were struck beneath its flickering neon gaze, a war that would test the bonds of friendship, the depths of loyalty, and the very nature of shadows themselves. Neo-Tokyo's ever-shifting shadows grew heavier as Jin-Woo and Hana advanced cautiously deeper into the labyrinth beneath the city. The weight of unseen eyes bore down upon them, ancient whispers curling around their senses. This place, it's not just history, Hana breathed. It's alive, with memory, with pain. Jin-Woo's shadows flickered at his fingertips, restless and raw. And every step we take stirs those memories awake. We're no longer just chasing answers, we're awakening a past that may never rest. Suddenly, a figure, half seen and haunting, emerged from the mist, its voice a low echo in the charged air. The truths you seek will burn away lies and lovers alike, it warned, eyes glowing with cryptic fire. Hana's grip tightened on her blade. We've already burned beneath their weight. We'll face whatever flames come next. Jin-Woo's gaze sharpened, shadows swirling in a protective dance. Together, then. No matter the cost. The figure bowed and vanished, leaving behind a lingering promise of chaos and revelation. Outside the subterranean depths, the fractured alliances of Neo-Tokyo tightened like nooses. Friends whispered warnings behind closed doors, foes smiled with hidden daggers. Jin-Woo and Hana moved through this world of masks and mirrors, where trust was a gamble, and betrayal never far. The city's pulse quickened, and a cold wind carried distant screams, a reminder that their fight was far from over. Every confrontation tested not only their blades but the fragile threads holding their own will and sanity intact. Through it all, Jin-Woo wrestled with his inner darkness, the shadow within as relentless as the enemies without. Hana's unwavering presence kept him grounded, their bond a fragile beacon against the encroaching void. As dawn threatened the horizon, the city held its breath, the coming storm destined to change the fate of all caught in its tangled web. The shadows loomed thicker as Jin-Woo and Hana navigated through the labyrinth's deepest corridors. Every breath felt like a gamble, every step echoing with whispered doubts. This place, Hana whispered, voice trembling, it's feeding on our fear. We can't let it win. Jin-Woo's grip on his shadows tightened. Then we light a fire so bright that even the darkness can't snuff it out. They reached an arched gateway inscribed with glyphs that seemed to pulse in time with their pounding hearts. This is the core, Hana said softly, tracing the symbols. It's where the city and its secrets dwell, the source of all this chaos. Jin-Woo's voice was steady. We destroy the source, or it destroys us. Suddenly, a figure emerged in the flickering light, a tall, cloaked stranger whose eyes held centuries of sorrow. You seek to pry open the city's wounds, the stranger said quietly. But some truths are better left buried. Hana stepped forward, defiant. We're not afraid of shadows, she declared. We're here to face them. The stranger's lips curled into a faint smile. Face them, then. But beware, the shadows you chase could be the very ones that devour you. With a gust of wind, he vanished into the darkness, leaving behind a trail of ominous silence. Jin-Woo's eyes burned with resolve. This isn't just a battle outside, he muttered. It's a fight within. As they prepared for the inevitable confrontation, Jin-Woo's mind flickered with torment, visions of past destructions, lost allies, and the ghost of his own doubt. We're running out of time, Hana said, voice strained yet unwavering. But if we falter now, all will be lost. Jin-Woo nodded, shadows swirling around him. Then let's make this our final stand, one that echoes through the shadows of our history and future alike. The city around them waited, its heartbeat synchronized with theirs. The night stretched taut like a bowstring, and when the darkness finally struck, it would be either a reckoning or a rebirth. The flickering neon lights above Neo-Tokyo cast long, uneasy shadows as Jin-Woo and Hana navigated the city's devious maze. Every step echoed the weight of the imminent conflict. This city, Hana said quietly, it's tangled with old magic and new betrayals. We can't afford to trust anyone blindly. Jin-Woo's eyes glittered with his inner shadows twisting beneath skin. Trust is a blade. Used wisely, it cuts; misused, it wounds. From the depths of a narrow alley emerged a cloaked figure, their presence chilling the air. The voice was low, coated in mystery and threat. You chase ghosts of your past, warriors. But truths buried beneath Neo-Tokyo's heartbeat can either save or destroy you. Hana tightened her grip on her blade and met the stranger's gaze. Then we'll face that destiny head-on. Jin-Woo's shadows pulsed in silent agreement. Let no fear chain us to the past. The stranger smiled faintly, disappearing into the mist as if swallowed by the city's own breath. The night listens. Be wary what you awaken. As darkness swelled, the city itself seemed to breathe, alive with secrets waiting to erupt. Jin-Woo and Hana's confrontation spiraled into a symphony of steel and shadow, memories colliding with present dangers. Hold on, Hana shouted amid the chaos. This is more than a fight, it's a reckoning. Jin-Woo parried fiercely, for ourselves, for what we've lost, and the future we'll claim. As the dust settled, cryptic symbols glimmered faintly on ancient stone. A summons, Hana murmured, eyes wide with grim understanding. Not just a call, but a test of resolve. Jin-Woo's voice was resolute. Then we meet it fully, undivided and unyielding. Their bond was fragile yet strong, a beacon against encroaching darkness. The city watched silently as the first rays of dawn struggled through turmoil, heralding a confrontation that would shape destinies and unravel shadows within. The alleys of Neo-Tokyo twisted around Jin-Woo and Hana with an eerie familiarity, as if the city itself remembered every secret they tried to uncover. Every street's a living memory, Hana whispered. And some memories cut deeper than any blade. Jin-Woo's shadows flickered beneath his skin, responding to the city's restless pulse. Maybe that's why our shadows are so restless too. Ahead, an ancient door sealed with mystic symbols beckoned. Beyond this lies the truth, and the nightmare, Hana said, her fingers tracing the glowing runes. Jin-Woo's voice was steady, laden with resolve. Then it's time to confront both. For the city. For ourselves. Suddenly, a silhouette stepped from the gloom, a figure cloaked in fragmented light, eyes shimmering with cryptic warnings. You tread the line between savior and destroyer, the figure intoned. And in Neo-Tokyo, that line is razor thin. Hana's grip tightened on her weapon as she replied, "We walk it willingly." Jin-Woo felt old wounds stir, memories of betrayals and sacrifices threading through his mind like a dark tapestry. "We're not just fighting shadows outside, but those within," he murmured. The city seemed to hold its breath as they prepared for the inevitable clash, the convergence of external dangers and internal demons. "No matter how deep the shadows," Hana said with fierce certainty, "we will carve a path to the light." As the first strike shattered the silence, Jin-Woo and Hana moved as one, a dance of steel and will against the growing darkness. The city's neon glow flickered like a heartbeat, steady and unyielding through the encroaching night. The deep corridors beneath Neo-Tokyo seemed to pulse as Jin-Woo and Hana descended further into the city's hidden veins. "These tunnels, they hold more than ancient whispers," Hana said, her voice echoing softly. "They carry the weight of every secret the city has ever buried." Jin-Woo's shadows stoked hungrily as he replied, "And every secret has a price, one we are about to pay." A sudden flicker of movement caught their eyes, and a figure stepped from the darkness, a face half hidden by the dim light, eyes locked on a distant memory. "You're chasing phantoms," the stranger murmured, voice layered with regret and warning. Hana's hand instinctively went to her weapon. "Or the truth, whichever comes first." Jin-Woo's gaze was steady. "The truth has a shadow too, and we're ready to face it." Tensions rippled through the space as memories, not just their own, rose up in spectral form, swirling like smoke. "What have you sacrificed for this fight?" the stranger asked, a question weighted with hidden pain. Hana stepped forward with fierce resolve. "Everything. And more than you'll ever understand." Jin-Woo added quietly, "When the world's shadows close in, you either stand your ground or lose yourself." The air thickened with an electric tension as unspoken fears and fragile hopes entwined. Outside, the city's restless heart beat faster, as if sensing the storm that was about to break. Jin-Woo traced the cryptic symbols carved into ancient stone, whispering, "This is more than a battleground. It's a reckoning." Hana met his eyes, her voice a vow, "Whatever comes next, we face it, together. For the city, for ourselves, for the shadows that haunt." From the depths, a low growl of something primal resonated through the walls. The darkness itself seemed to awaken, preparing to challenge every hard-won truth and every flicker of light they held. The cavernous underground chamber echoed with the clash of steel and the crackle of dark magic. Jin-Woo's shadow blades sliced through the thick air, each movement precise and deadly. Opponents, twisted specters born of the city's deepest fears, lunged at him from every angle. His breath was steady despite the chaos around him, his mind sharp, calculating every strike and parry. Hana fought beside him, her movements fluid like water as she weaved between attacks. She avoided a swipe of shadowy claws and retaliated with a rapid series of stabs, each imbued with an electric charge that sizzled through the spectral armor. "Jin-Woo, behind you," she warned, voice a taut wire. He twisted, narrowly avoiding a serrated blade aimed at his back, countering with a spinning slash that tore through the creature's form, dissolving it into a mist of darkness. "They're relentless," he muttered, "but so are we." The fight was brutal and unyielding. Jin-Woo found himself grappling not just with the apparitions but with the rising storm within, a surge of doubt and anger threatening to engulf him. He felt the raw power in his shadows, wild and hungry, but he restrained it, recognizing that to lose control here would be to lose everything. As a spectral assailant lunged, Jin-Woo sidestepped and used his shadow to bind the creature's limbs, twisting them until it dissipated in a wail. "Control your fear," Hana shouted, landing a decisive blow on another attacker. "Master your darkness, or it will master you." Their breaths were ragged as the last specter fell. Jin-Woo turned to Hana, determination blazing in his eyes. This is no ordinary fight. We're battling the city's soul, and our own. Between clashes, fleeting moments of clarity came like sparks. Jin-Woo recalled the faces of those he vowed to protect, the weight of sacrifice heavy on his heart. Hana's steadfast presence was his anchor in the storm. We can't stop now, Hana said fiercely, not when the city's fate hangs in the balance. Jin-Woo nodded, shadows coiling tightly around his arms. Then let's finish this, before the darkness consumes all. The cavernous underground chamber echoed with the clash of steel and the crackle of dark magic. Jin-Woo's shadow blades sliced through the thick air, each movement precise and deadly. Opponents, twisted specters born of the city's deepest fears, lunged at him from every angle. His breath was steady despite the chaos around him, his mind sharp, calculating every strike and parry. Hana fought beside him, her movements fluid like water as she weaved between attacks. She avoided a swipe of shadowy claws and retaliated with a rapid series of stabs, each imbued with an electric charge that sizzled through the spectral armor. Jin-Woo, behind you. She warned, voice a taut wire. He twisted, narrowly avoiding a serrated blade aimed at his back, countering with a spinning slash that tore through the creature's form, dissolving it into a mist of darkness. They're relentless, he muttered, but so are we. The fight was brutal and unyielding. Jin-Woo found himself grappling not just with the apparitions but with the rising storm within, a surge of doubt and anger threatening to engulf him. He felt the raw power in his shadows, wild and hungry, but he restrained it, recognizing that to lose control here would be to lose everything. As a spectral assailant lunged, Jin-Woo sidestepped and used his shadow to bind the creature's limbs, twisting them until it dissipated in a wail. Control your fear. Hana shouted, landing a decisive blow on another attacker. Master your darkness, or it will master you. Their breaths were ragged as the last specter fell. Jin-Woo turned to Hana, determination blazing in his eyes. This is no ordinary fight. We're battling the city's soul, and our own. Between clashes, fleeting moments of clarity came like sparks. Jin-Woo recalled the faces of those he vowed to protect, the weight of sacrifice heavy on his heart. Hana's steadfast presence was his anchor in the storm. We can't stop now, Hana said fiercely, not when the city's fate hangs in the balance. Jin-Woo nodded, shadows coiling tightly around his arms. Then let's finish this, before the darkness consumes all. The shadows in the underground chamber thickened, swirling with malevolent intent as Jin-Woo and Hana braced for the next onslaught. A hulking specter lunged from the darkness, its claws shimmering with dark energy. Jin-Woo's shadow blades flashed, meeting the attack with a sharp hiss of steel slicing through supernatural flesh. The fight was a deadly dance, fast, fluid, and merciless. Each strike Jin-Woo delivered was measured, designed to wound and not waste energy. His blades moved not just by muscle, but by the very pulse of his will, cutting through the ectoplasmic enemy with streaks of shadow that seemed to cling to his arms like living extensions. Hana was equally fierce, her twin daggers weaving a protective web around Jin-Woo. She darted like a shadow herself, narrowly evading a swipe that would have torn through flesh and bone. Her counterattack was precise, a quick slash to the creature's side glowing with a flicker of phantom flame. They're stronger than before, she gasped, but we're not backing down. Jin-Woo ducked under another swipe and retaliated with a powerful burst of shadow energy from his palms, knocking the specter back against the ancient stone walls. The creature howled, disintegrating into wisps of dark mist. This fight, it's beyond mere survival, Jin-Woo murmured, his breath ragged but determination unbroken. It's a test of every shadow we carry inside. As the next wave came, the two fighters moved with synchronicity born from years of trust and shared battle. Hana called out, left flank. And Jin-Woo pivoted, parrying a cerulean blade with a shimmering shadow shield. The air crackled with energy, the raw clash of light and darkness meeting in violent harmony. Each move was fraught with risk, but also a deeply personal fight against the chaos threatening to overwhelm the city, and their very souls. In the brief lull, Hana wiped sweat from her brow. Do you think this darkness can truly be tamed? Jin-Woo's gaze was fierce. It's not about taming. It's about controlling what could consume us if left unchecked. The underground chamber seemed to pulse with their answers, the city standing silent witness to their battle of steel, will, and shadows. The chamber hummed with an ominous energy as Jin-Woo and Hana faced their encroaching foes, shadow spirits born from Neo-Tokyo's darkest fears. The first attacker leapt forward, claws slashing with brutal speed aimed straight for Jin-Woo's heart. Reacting instantly, Jin-Woo's shadow blades shimmered, slicing through the spectral form as if cutting thick velvet. The air around him seemed to pulse with the energy of his will, the shadows bending to his command. Hana moved beside him like a silent storm, wielding twin daggers that flickered with blue electric sparks. She spun gracefully under a sweeping strike, landing a counter blow that sent a creature howling into the ether. Watch their patterns, she warned, voice sharp with urgency. They feed on hesitation. Jin-Woo nodded, muscles taut as he darted to intercept another attacker. He parried a savage blow, the clash ringing through the chamber like a bell tolling doom. Using the momentum, he twisted and delivered a crushing strike infused with shadow fire that disintegrated his opponent's form. Each of these fights is a test, he growled. Not just of strength, but of control. The battle ebbed and flowed, a deadly dance of light and shadow. Hana's eyes caught movement to their flank, more enemies gathering, their shapes twisted by the dark magic suffusing the air. We need to control the battlefield, she said, voice steady despite the growing chaos. Jin-Woo extended his hands, summoning a swirling vortex of shadows that roared to life. The spirits were caught in the maelstrom, their screams echoing as they were torn apart. But every victory cost precious energy. Sweat slicked Hana's forehead as she fought beside him, covering his flank with razor-sharp precision. Between blows, Jin-Woo's mind flickered with memories of sacrifices past, friends lost to darkness, promises broken, the heavy cost of power. He steeled himself, knowing that beyond these fights lay deeper horrors still. This isn't just survival, Jin-Woo exclaimed, breathing hard. It's the battle for Neo-Tokyo's soul, and ours. Hana placed a steady hand on his shoulder. Then let's fight with everything we have. Together. The chamber settled into silence, the dark miasma receding but the threat far from over. Jin-Woo and Hana exchanged determined looks, the war was just beginning. The specters regrouped with deadly intent, their forms now merged and twisted, a monstrous shadow towering over Jin-Woo and Hana. Neon veins pulsed through its flesh, casting a spectral glow over the chamber. A guttural roar shook the walls as it advanced, the air trembling with the promise of destruction. Jin-Woo's heart hammered, shadows writhing around his arms. Get ready, this is the nightmare beneath the city. Hana met his gaze, eyes burning with equal parts fear and resolve. We end this, or it ends us. The colossal shadow unleashed a torrent of tendrils, each one seething with venomous energy. Jin-Woo dodged left, his blade slicing a limb, the impact spraying corrosive mist. Hana darted forward, her daggers flashing with electric power as she severed two more. The creature howled, its body reforming instantly. It's learning, Hana breathed, a chill threading through her spine. A tendril caught Jin-Woo's leg, searing pain radiating as shadows threatened to drag him into oblivion. Hana moved with fury, breaking the grip with an arc of blue flame, but the effort left her vulnerable, and the monster's maw turned toward her. No! Jin-Woo shouted, unleashing a surge of shadow so intense it shattered the nearest stone pillar, raining debris across the chamber. The dust cleared. Jin-Woo and Hana looked up to find the shadow beast looming, its shape now almost human, wearing the faces of every fear they'd buried. The chamber was collapsing around them. Hana pulled Jin-Woo close, voice trembling, if this is it, at least we face it together. The creature lunged, its intent unmistakable, its power overwhelming, and just as the tendrils closed in, the world burst into blinding light. And the scene cuts to black, leaving their fate unknown. Thus ends this arc of darkness and defiance. Neo Tokyo trembles on the edge, and the fate of Jin-Woo and Hana hangs by the thinnest thread. Their battle has shaken the shadows and brought the city to a precipice. As the dust settles, only one truth remains: the war for Neo Tokyo's soul is far from over. As the night deepens and the city holds its breath, Jin-Woo and Hana stand at the crossroads of a war that threatens to engulf all they hold dear. Their bond, tested in the crucible of shadows, is the fragile beacon against the coming storm. But with every revelation, the darkness grows deeper, and the true enemy remains unseen, waiting to strike. Will Neo Tokyo fall into shadow, or will its heroes rise to claim the dawn? Stay with us for the next chapter in Shadows of Neo Tokyo, where every battle is more than flesh and steel, it is a fight for the light within us all. Thank you for joining this journey. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more.